Hi, welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel. Today I am doing a quick flip through and review of Get It at Sutler's by Daniel Sell. This is published by Melsonian Arts Council and illustrations by Tony Howe, and Andrew Walter. London. Design and cover art by Shi Zhang. Editing by Ezra Claveri. Fonts in use are Arco and GT Maru. Special thanks to Mike Shea and Gene Wolfe, to whom I owe so much. It's a sweet dedication. Get It at Sutler's is a bit wild. I ran it the other night. This kind of setup initially is kind of fun. It's good information to give your players to kind of establish what Sutler's is. Sutler's is a luxury department store with a department for all kinds of weird things. Although, as far as I could kind of tell, most of this happens with the context that the PCs are running from the fishmongers. So there's lots of departments, but they are employed in the fishmongers department. The how to use this book section describes a pretty chaotic game that fits right in with Troika. And then this job description is a good kind of breakdown for like how play will actually work on a day-to-day basis. So basically the party will say, I want to go to work. You determine what day it is. There is in Appendix A the Troican year. So the Troican year is 6 days a week, split up across 6 weeks a month and 6 months a year. And then there are 6 hours in a day. So clever and convenient for the D66 table. And basically the party will go to work on a day. Based on the day they choose to go to work, you will roll a d6. That will tell you which table to roll on for the events of that day. And you will go to that table to roll it. Now, here they have the tables listed with their pages. It seems like they could have just put the page numbers here as well, since this is more likely the table you're going to be using to look it up. So, yeah, not super convenient in that regard, but it is relatively easy. And honestly, the paper in this book is really nice to write on, so I'm likely going to just fill this book with notes and little bits of notes here and there. There is a note here on damage and dying, which is to say that if you die at work, you probably aren't dead, you're just out of commission. And also that healing and restoration from sleep and food don't work at work. So the intention of this is to be very much more one shot, one session, episodic adventure. And then diving right in, you roll one of these or a couple of these in a day, depending on the table, and you are going to be confronted with, let me just be really honest with you, all kinds of silliness. It is absurd to the extreme. If you don't want silliness in your role-playing games, then you don't want this book. If you, like me, love a certain silly flair and having nice bouts of comedy and vaudeville in your RPGs, then you're probably really going to enjoy this. Some things to note: they do not indicate in any way which creatures or which characters referred to here are monsters or have stat blocks. So if you see a term you are unfamiliar with, or you see it appearing after a number of so-and-so appears, or a group of such and such, you will want to go and find that creature in the enemies section of the book, which starts on page 64. So from 64 I love this art. Amazing. Do not feed the carnivorous plants. Starting with the all-terrain shark, and I believe ending with the Volach on page 98, 99. These are all the monster stat blocks that are found throughout the book. Cocksure Gammons, Codwalloper, Cotterclam, Day Manager, Disciplinary Ordeal, Filthy Sucking Parasite, Floor Walkers. Yeah. So don't take it for granted that the words just mean what the words mean. They probably have a stat block somewhere in the monster section that you will want to reference. Note to Melsonian Arts Council, it is actually useful to a DM when you mark these things as bold in some way or indicate, what page you can find that on. So, you had the room. Feel free. I don't think you'd hurt anybody's feelings. That said, everything else in here is absolutely a joy. It is weird. It is fun. It will definitely throw your players off their feet. And I look forward to actually using this as kind of a campaign framework. The idea here being that they go to work, they encounter some stuff, and then you make some game, after that. So, which takes me to, I could show you some more monsters. There's so many monsters. Too many customers. That's a monster. That tracks. Turbot Goon, a turtler. Yeah. Victualler. Weird. A selection of fish products. Good to have if you happen to be a fishmonger at Sutlers. And then this is actually the section of the book that I ran yesterday. Well, I did read the book. Pisceans in the Second House is a Sutler's adventure. And I kind of like the setup for this. Basically, this is them getting a job. And so the first portion of the game was just an interview. So I got to play an interviewer and ask these questions of my party and have silly shenanigans to do with the answers. It was quite fun. Then the party went into their probationary day of work, which is described here, and shenanigans ensue. Pisceans jump out of the barrels of trout they're supposed to be unloading and attack, and so they kind of have to deal with all of these creatures, and that's a successful day of work. Upon completion of this, they actually, because they were staying at the Blancmange and Thistle, we went back to the Blancmange and Thistle, and they ran the first 4 floors of Blancmange and Thistle, going back to their rooms in their hotel. So it was really fun to kind of stitch the world of Troika together using this product, and I'm very much looking forward to just exploring what all's going on at Sutlers and using this to springboard a bunch of adventures. So really, really fun stuff. You should check it out. Again, if you like this kind of wild weirdness, you will enjoy it very much. The art is worth it on its own. The construction of the book is quite nice. It's got that kind of light newsprint style paper that, I don't know, I find it really refreshing. And I think that's what I've got. So if you enjoyed this video, I've got a whole bunch of these flip through and reviews. I'm also doing a series of videos about using random generators, so you should check those out. You can like this video. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to. We just reached 200 subscribers, so go us. Yay. And then otherwise you can support WatcherDM by going to watcherdm.com. You can go find us on itch.io or on DriveThruRPG. You can buy any of our adventure products, some of them for Troika. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for playing.